Hello viewers, tonight we're going to be changing out the ceiling fan here in the living room. This is actually being recorded 3 times. There's a behind the scenes take on this camera here, and then there's a regular camera take, and then there's the GoPro point of view camera take. So you can pick out of the 3 which ones you prefer the most. The regular camera take probably captures the Christmas lights the nicest. I think the GoPro camera is the second best, but it takes good pictures of the Christmas lights themselves, but it doesn't work too good in low light conditions, which ultimately is what this is. So I think from a visibility standpoint, the regular camera one might be the most aesthetically pleasing. We're going to be installing a Hampton Bay branded slow disconnection ceiling fan. Now we need to do some inspection first. It's very cold out today, so we have to do this I'm going to say quickly because I'm doing the work, so it's not going to be quick, but we have to minimize. It's like fall in here. We have to minimize the amount of time that there's no ceiling fan installed. So I think what I'm going to do is I want to do as much of the work on this as I can down on the ground, and then we'll put the other one away afterwards. I didn't plan it so that, like, ironically this should be very quick to install, and that's just by happenstance. I just wanted to try this one during Christmas time, but it works given the circumstances here. So let's do a quick inspection of everything and make sure that all the parts are here and appear to be in reasonable condition. I'm just going to install it with the regular height down rod today, and then maybe in a week or 2, once I've got the garland down from the beams, we will switch it to the regular 2-foot rod. It's just, I think it'll work better for heat reclamation this way anyways, and I don't want it in the way while I'm trying to get the garland down. This looks pretty decent. Interestingly enough, there's still a hole for the swag kit install on this. I'm surprised something that new has this. Here's the blades. Here's the rod. I think this will match the lights pretty well in here. This is technically not polished brass. I believe it's considered Flemish brass, but it is a shiny, polished-like finish. So it'll look pretty good, I think. Start with opening the blades first, make sure these are all copacetic. Here's the blades. We have, this looks like a walnut finished, and maybe a rosewood. Yeah, I'm going to say walnut and rosewood. I have to decide which one to put on. Probably, I think this side we'll go with. Got the up rod here. It's a 3/4. I should have a polished brass 3/4 rod to use. Mounting stuff. This must be a later one because it's got the cheaper plastic pull fob. Upper canopy. There's not much to assemble here besides the down rod. It has nice long lead wires that'll be convenient when we switch over to the 2-foot rod. There's no silica gel? Rats, I was getting hungry. There's the instruction manual. I don't think we'll need that because these are very straightforward and I've installed these before, but we'll keep it handy in case we do. Okay, get that out of the way. Get the regular camera back in view here. You know what, there's going to be some wind noise here. I better take a quick break and put some wind screens on the microphones. Here we go. 1 windscreen, 2 windscreens. Because I think I'm going to put a fan on too. And it's just going to get real windy. Okay, now I can put on a fan and not worry about the wind noise. I'm going to put on a Honeywell pedestal fan because it's going to get hot up there by the ceiling. Okay, that may or may not be effective, but at least I tried. Okay, so let's see what we got here. In terms of the fan, it looks pretty good. It's pretty clean. I don't know if this has been tampered with. The box was definitely opened. I don't know how far it went. You know, some people take things open and just take all the piece out and put it back. I really wish people would stop doing that, but okay, the bearings seem good. I think if there is a problem here, which I don't really expect, but if there is any kind of problem, I think it would be the capacitor. Because these, not so much these, but the Huntingtons from this time period seem to have a lot of capacitor issues over the years, which is unfortunate, but that's what it is. At least it's an easy enough part to replace. This may or may not go up there. It depends on how the fit is with the medallion. Oh, that seems to be cross-threaded. There's definitely some imperfections on this finish, which is likely from storage rash type imperfections. Probably notice a lot more tomorrow in the daylight. But I think that this finish is supposed to be kind of like that with those dark brown and black lines through it. That's like the Flemish brass. It's not a true polished brass, but it's close enough that the rod still looks decent in polished brass. I had the polished brass rod on the Antigua, which is the same finish, and it looked fine. Alright, so this seems to be copacetic. This is heavy. I think that these get a lot more hate than they deserve. I actually think these are pretty respectable fans. As far as nostalgia goes, these are super nostalgic to me. I remember so many places that had these, more so the white ones. I used to see the white ones out in commercial applications all the time, some of which I still see to this day. So now we're going to get the rod connected. And this has to go here first, and this has to go on like this. Much easier with a 3/4 rod. Trying to get the wires to a 1/2 inch rod sometimes is a pain in the neck. Alright, we need a pin, which is probably here in our hardware bag. Got to make sure we save the staple for some psychotic reason. Here's the pin. Set screw must be tightly locked against down rod during installation. It doesn't have to be. You could tighten it loosely or not at all. It's still not going to fall. Okay, down rod is assembled. That's ready to go. So it's ready to go up at this point. Very simple. All right, now we got to get the ladder set up. I'll move this regular camera over here and get a nice view of the Christmas tree while I set up the ladder. And then we will take down the crest. I think what I'll do first is I'll take the light shades off first while it's running. And then obviously we'll have to turn it off to take the blades off. And then as soon as I get the blades off, we'll take it down. And then we'll get this other one started. And then we'll put the crest back away once the new fan's up and running, pushing the heat back down. I don't remember if this clears or not. I think it does, but it probably clears by an inch, and that's not a risk I'm willing to take. Yeah, it would clear. Just ever so slightly, it will clear. Whew, that's scary. For heaven's sakes. Some user error right there. We'll get there one day. Why is that busted? Guess we should take out these $1 million light bulbs too. Stick these in here for now. I think that these are number 1 screws. I need a box to put the software in. Oh no, I put that box downstairs. This is the box that I wanted. I got the box. See how this is spinning backwards now? That's the heat from the stove going up. That's why we lose so much heat in here when this is not running. It is so cold down here on the floor. There's got to be a 20 or 30 degree difference between the floor and the ceiling in here. This is the side you're supposed to stand on because it has the stabilizer a little bit less wobbly this way. I can't believe how hot it is up at the ceiling here. It's got to be at least 90 degrees up here. Normally I would not disconnect it that way, but I'm trying to move quickly, which is kind of laughable. Okay, let's see if we can locate these things again. I have 1, 2, 3. Is there a 4th one up there? No, they all come down. I'll search for a few seconds, and if I don't find it, I'll just go get another one, and I'll find it later, because we don't have time for this. I don't see it. Alright, I'll find it tomorrow in the daylight. I'm just going to go get another one for the sake of time. I've got a whole box of them down here in the studio room, which is now a complete disaster. Actually, I think they're upstairs. Go figure. I think they're on the dining room table. Okay, I have no idea where they are. Oh, even better. They're on the table where we're working. So this bracket does not require the screws to be completely undone. You can slide it on, which is kind of cool. I think it was it King of Fans that made these, or maybe some were made by SMC, I don't remember, but the design was very good in regards to ease of use and bringing this to the average consumer who is not technical. Very, very well designed in that respect. And what's not well designed is these medallions. So this may fall too. Oh, whatever. That freak show might have been captured better on the behind the scenes camera. I didn't look down at it because I didn't want to fall. So it might not have been caught on either of the other two takes. I think I'm going to make use of this design and start the other screw. I gotta fix this stinking hole in the ceiling. This is ridiculous. That is definitely convenient. I like that. I better tie this up before we bring it up there, because this has got a lot of extra wire on it. Now we're going to need to cut this back a little bit. These wires are a touch too long. Okay, that should be good. Why is this blurry? Now it's clear. Stay in focus. The positioning of this hook is horrible. Huh. That almost looks like a manufacturing defect to me. There's no way to hook this on there. I guess it doesn't matter because you can just slip this in the socket to do the wiring, but that doesn't seem right. I wonder if that is actually a manufacturing defect. It could be. It very well could be. What is this caught on? I don't think that we're going to have a light on this, but we'll connect the light wires anyways. Okay, lots of wire in there. I always prefer the live connectors to be up inside the box. I don't really care about the common and the ground that can sit there. Yeah, there's definitely some storage rash on there, but oh well, that's what happens. Especially when people take it out of the box and handle it and then put it back. Whoops. That was catastrophic. Something is off here with this. I gotta put the ladder on the other side. I can't tell what's wrong with it. Oh, it's way off. Sometimes if I put this right underneath it, I can get on both sides without moving it. It's a little flaky, but it's a good time saver in a case like this. Okay, that was the problem. It was not even remotely close to being the way that it should be. That was definitely not threaded in correctly at the factory. Just gonna go with it because the threads are already jacked up at this point. Okay, now we just need blades and we're done. I guess I'll test it before we put the blades on just to make sure that there's no problems, because there's always a problem. It's on reverse! Oh no! Anybody else remember when that was a big to-do on YouTube? Alright, it seems fine. I don't hear any bearing noise right now, but that's not to say it won't develop, because these bearings have sat idle for probably about 2 decades now, which is not ideal. I think I'm going to go with the walnut. It's a better match for this room. It's got more of a warm tone to it. Maybe it's supposed to be rosewood, I don't know. I suppose we could just take a look at the box and see what the finish is said to be. I don't feel like that's locked in place correctly. Now it is. These are pretty wide blades. It doesn't work quite as nicely as it's advertised, but it is definitely a much faster install than most fans. I'm trying to be very careful about not bending the irons at all. It seems like they might be a touch loose. See that sweat? I can't believe how hot it is. I'm not kidding when I'm telling you it's got to be 90 or 100 degrees up here. Yeah, the problem that we're running into is those grommets are not passing through the blade holes the way they're supposed to. And I'm not sure if that's because the grommets are degrading. You know, they're 20 years old. They could be starting to dry rot. I don't know. Looks like a very similar grommet to what Hunter used. This is just being used in a different way. Okay, one more to go and then we can turn it on. Ow. Okay, it's in place. We'll get the fob on here. Gotta make sure we save the staple for some psychotic reason. Come on. There we go. Okay. There we go. Installation complete. Now we're going to put the Crest back into the box. And this should not be as difficult as the other one was, because I don't think that this requires the motor to be disassembled. Now this is wrong. You can hear the story behind that on the behind the scenes clip. A little mental malfunction last night. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the irons. That I believe is for the globe. This is probably for the motor. This is for the information. That's all for the blades. I think that's for the light shades. That might be for hardware. And here's the hardware. Should probably go get a well, I guess between the two, that's probably good enough. So we'll compile all the hardware in here, and then we'll do an inventory when we're done. Alright, so let's begin. Ooh, delicious silicone shell. Nice snack for later. Let's begin by taking the motor off of the long rod. That long rod does not go with this fan. We'll put this back onto the stock down rod. I should probably keep this wire and notate this as a good piece for the living room fan here, because this even fits into 1/2-inch rods. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this for that purpose. This might not be the bag for this. Maybe this is where the light went. That makes more sense. And that also makes more sense. doesn't seem like it's fitting quite right. I guess it goes the other way. There's a slot for the switch housing in the top of that. Yeah, that's better. Okay, that fits down as expected. Okay, so the globe goes there, which is this. Take out these $1 million light bulbs that are in here. And the globe, where is the, I think it's this. Okay, and then we have 3, and I think that there is a piece of this in between it. 1, 2, 3 a.m. 3 light shades like that. I'm going to put a piece of this in the front here. Okay, that's everything on the bottom. This is probably for the down rod. This is very dusty, but that's not surprising considering it ran continuously for several months. I have to screw in these screws so it fits better. This is very tight fit. No, I don't think I wiped this down anyways. I'll just screw these in for safety as well, just so they don't fall out. I don't think that the switch cap is supposed to stay on there, because if the blades go like this, it's going to hit the socket, and that's about the height of the switch cap. Yeah, I did put it on because it's not fully flat. Yeah, I kind of remember that now, because I remember thinking it odd that it would ship with the light, but not ship with the light actually installed. It was configured to be used without the light. Now it's sitting down there flush. Okay. According to the original video, these pieces just kind of chill up on the top here. Where did the irons go? The irons went here, so this has to go somewhere else, but I don't know where else it would go with the blades. I think it was just there. That's what the original video showed, it was just here, but I'm not really seeing how that would work, because it's not gonna, I don't like the way that is. Can I put it over this somehow? No, that's not gonna work for the same reason. What the heck, Crest? Why did you make this so difficult? I guess it's gonna have to go here. Don't like that, but that's the way it come out. Same thing with the rod. The rod was just like sitting over here, and the bracket I think was also just kind of loose in here like this. I definitely have to go get a proper bag for all these pieces. This does not look like it belongs to that. This looks like a Hampton Bay style screw. No, it definitely does not go with this fan. Not putting that in this box. Alright, let's get these blades apart. No grommets this time, so this should go pretty quick. But there is a lot of dust. Actually, less dust than I would have expected for how much this was used. That was very terrible. Ah, the delicious silica gel. Where did it go? Was this what fell? I thought it was the silica gel that fell. No, I guess it was that. It sounded the same. This was probably originally around these irons. Just put that in there. Wow, everything in here is such a tight fit. Why, Crest? It's obnoxious. Just as I suspected, it hits the shade. I don't understand how this is supposed to work. Oh, does it go like that, maybe? Yeah, that's a little better. I still don't like the way that is, but... yeah, this pack's in here very, very flaky. just have to make a note to not put anything on top of this ever. Snack for later. Alright, now I gotta go get a bag to put these screws in. We'll do a hardware inventory check to make sure that everything is there, and then we'll be done. And we'll keep this in there just for the sake of record keeping. This came from the Mission thrift store in Orville. I have no idea where that is or what that is, and it cost $16. What a steal. Alright, so we should have these are the motor stoppers. That's for some, I don't know why those are even in there. That we did not use. I think that's for flush mounting. Alright, so we should have one. Wait a minute, no, those are the correct screws. Those are the blade screws. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 blade screws. Well, there's 19. There's an extra one, I guess. And there should be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 blade to motor screws. 4 canopy screws. 30 switch housing screws. Unidentified piece of metal. Lock washer nut for the switch housing. Down rod. And these are for the, I don't remember what those are for, but there's enough of them. And original pull fobs. I'd rather put those pull fobs in that bag than that screw. Keep these nice. This was found on February 10th, 2025. I might as well just keep this in there too, because I'm going to need this next time we install it and put it away. Alright, that completes the Crest 8600 Rebox. And I'm sure it won't be long before we see this one again.